Welcome to Rick's Europe. I'm Scarlett Karoleva sitting here with Jim Robb. Jim, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I saw you yesterday on the panel. It was about migration, and you made some incredible points that I would love to discuss with you. But first and foremost, how do you look at the migration crisis in Europe as an American?
Well, the migration crisis in Europe is much worse than it is in America for a number of reasons. First, well, let's say in America. In America, our migrants are overwhelmingly from Christian countries. And so there's not the clash of cultures in that way. Also, geographically, although some of the countries, people coming to the United States are far away, the cultures are not that dissimilar. So there's more similarities. A lot of people, and the biggest language people coming to America is Spanish. Many Americans, millions upon millions of Americans speak Spanish. And so it seems that there's assimilation into the American political life and cultural life has been easier for America. Now, we do have some other cultures coming. We do have some people from the Middle East. We have a lot of people from Asia. But so far, the numbers have been manageable. The biggest numbers, again, have been from Latin America.
Yeah, because I mean, at least we'll talk about the demographic a bit later, but in Europe, mass migration is getting out of hand, and Trump pulled the 180. He started mass deporting illegals. I mean, it's even up to point now that they're starting to deport themselves. And unfortunately, this is something that either our European leaders are unwilling to do, or it's simply impossible because we're bound with rules such as the European Court of Human Rights.
Right.
How can we pull a 180 before we lose Europe?
Right. Well, that's right. In America, we do have a unified government. The United States Constitution gives all power on immigration to the United States Congress. Congress has passed laws that delegate a lot of its authority to the president. So the president is using that authority to declare some emergency powers, stop the illegal flow of migrants from the border, and that has been shut down almost 100% right now. So that's significant. Could Europe do that? Yes, but it would require more political unity than Europe has shown so far. And because of the various political parties in Europe, some of them socialists, some Christian right, some social democrats, even communist at places, and then various right-wing parties, there hasn't been the political unity at all that would be required for the continent to say we know it's time to change. We must change. We're going to change. We're going to do whatever it takes to change now. For a long time, we in America, we who are in the immigration reform movement, trying to reduce immigration to manageable levels, we said, let's reform immigration now before someone comes in who's truly ultra right wing and will smash everything. And so I think Trump is a good balance. He respects the courts and he's working with Congress. And so we are reforming it. Now, our job in groups like mine at Numbers USA in America is to get the United States Congress to pass official laws that will mean that future presidents of whatever political party will be bound by these same restriction policies.
Yeah, and I want to talk about your amazing words further on as well. Yesterday, you mentioned that you did a research, and it turned out that 47% of the Hispanics had voted for Trump. Trump is, of course, been always very open about the fact that he will start having mass deportations. That means that even Hispanics support that. How do you think that come? Where does their support come from?
Right. Well, people have made the mistake, especially on the left in America, make the mistake of believing that people whose parents and grandparents were immigrants will still have the interest of the old country foremost in their mind. So they'll still be supporting people from the old country, no matter that they're in the new country. But it hasn't worked out that way. So the people, as they come into America, they start becoming American very quickly in their values, and they don't want more. They don't want, especially illegal immigrants, to come into their neighborhoods, to push their children out of schools, to take up the hospital spaces. All the social welfare gets absorbed. So the people, the thing is, Hispanics in America who are citizens, they feel like Americans and they know which side they're on. So this has been a surprise to the left. The left can't believe it, especially the voting. Like all the Hispanics voting for Trump, about half of all Hispanic citizens voted for Trump. Here's something that I think probably in Europe is hard to grasp, that Hispanics in America are now over 60 million people. So this is the population roughly of France or of the UK. So what they decide to do, their attitudes is extremely important to the future. It's 20% of America now, which is two out of 10 people. So but it turns out that about half of them are quite conservative, and they continue moving more conservative because they're pro-family. They tend to be pretty religious. Yeah. They're various, either Christian or Protestant, Catholic or Protestant, I mean, and so not all, but like the rest of Americans.
But then I wonder, why do the elite don't get that their people who they thought would support them are fed up with their policies? They understand that these policies are hurting them as well. Is it because they're just simply blind, or are they delusional?
The left tends to think in racial terms, right? So ethnicity and identity, ethnic identity, racial identity, gender identity, these are the most important categories for the left. They see in terms of class as well. Whereupon parties on the center right and the right tend to think more in terms of nation and nationhood. So a nation is a much more open thing. You can become a part of the American nation. You don't have to be white. You don't have to be Caucasian. You don't have to be from England or whatever place Americans are originally from. But so anybody of any race can join the American nation. And so this is very attractive to Hispanics and other immigrants. And so the immigrant populations are moving further to the right, identifying with Trump and the Republicans because of this national identity. And they're tired of all these other identities, ethnic, racial, etc.
And then I also heard another solution yesterday that I want to cover. What you said was, and I really like that idea, alligator Alcatraz. Should we do that in Europe? Get them to the swamp.
I don't think there'd be an appetite for that in Europe, and it's kind of a joke. It's kind of
but how serious is that joke?
It's pretty serious. It's a joke, but it's kind of serious. So it's this detention center that's in the middle of a swamp, basically. And it's surrounded by swampiness, which means like
there are a lot of alligators.
There literally are alligators out there, and it's like impossible to escape. Not that people are escaping from detention centers in America anyway. They're pretty strict. But it's a frightening idea. Yeah. So it's not really frightening to be at alligator Alcatraz. It's just a camp. And it's processing people and then deporting them. But it's very frightening to think you might be sent to such a place. And so what the administration's really trying to do is get people just to say, I give up. It's not worth being here illegally. I'm going home before they arrest me.
And I mean, you're the man of the numbers. Do you see that fear has already been effective?
Yes, maybe for every one person that had been deported so far, 10 people have decided to go home voluntarily because they're afraid of it. Now, they may not always keep up. The people who are the least connected to the American society, probably who arrived most recently, are going to be the first to go home. But those are the ones who should go home because the experience in coming to another country is always the same. It's always harder than people think it will be. And people think there's, in China, they call America the mountain of gold, right? And so America is kind of a rich place,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of poor people in America. This is what we don't get. So it's like America has poor people of its own to take care of. We don't need more people who are poor coming in to absorb our services, et cetera. And we've got the most sophisticated, most technically advanced economy in the world. We don't need people coming in without skills, without language. They can't speak any of our common languages. I mean, as I said, a lot of people do speak Spanish, but other people are coming from other places where they don't have even that common language, and they basically they just do very simple things, which a lot of these things are being taken over by mechanical means, right? So, Europe has a similar situation. There are people coming in without language. A lot of people from the Middle East who they may speak a language that very few people can speak in whatever Western European country they go to. And they're doing very simple skills. So a lot of people think, oh, I'll go and I'll do whatever I did back home, but there isn't such an industry, right? And so a lot of people are wind up on some kind of welfare relief, and Europe has poor people too of its own.
And I want to import now 7 million more. Meloni already agreed to get 500,000 more migrants, as if Italy needs them. And if they're going to stay in Italy, I mean, we're going to have an even bigger crisis. But then this time will be legal and not illegal.
Right. Well, yeah, it's a lot of trouble in America since when President Biden was in power for 4 years. He performed the ultimate open borders experiment. He just let everybody in, and millions of people came in. No one knows how many, literally. I mean, it may be 7, 8, 9 million. And this is a lot of people, right? That's the population of Hungary, where we are right now, and letting into the country. And now we've got to get rid of them because they're not jobs for all these people. We have as I said, our own poor people that we need to take care of. So how are we going to take care of all these millions who just showed up? So, what's happened in the 21st century is there's several things that are different. There are two basic changes that have made all this possible. The first is the cost of international travel has plummeted. It's gone way, way down to a fraction of what it was. So people can, 40 years ago, it would have been almost impossible to imagine someone coming from India, flying to Mexico on a jetliner, and then coming up to the Rio Grande River and crossing over into Texas. It's just been too expensive, too much trouble. How would you even do it? Yeah. But now people do it every day. And then, until Trump got in. And then the second thing that's changed is social media. So now you can come, you cross the Rio Grande, at least again, until Trump got in, and you get on Facebook and say, hey, I just crossed the Rio Grande. Everyone from my home village, you can do it too.
It's encouraging them, yeah.
Submit, and then now everyone sees it and they, I can do that too. So we've had this revolution in communications, revolution in cheap transport that have and then illegal immigrants have learned to what we call game the system, meaning manipulate the system for asylum. And people say, I'm persecuted. Well, who knows? You come from 5,000 miles away. Nobody can tell what you are, right? And so, and under President Biden, millions got in under that. But Trump just says, nope, we're not doing that anymore. So, yeah, we've drawn a line in the sand, as we say, in America. Europe can do it too. It just has to decide it's tired of business as usual.
Well, Europe, wake up. You can do it too. Thank you so much, Mr. Robb. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
You.
Thank you.